Hi, I'm Jason. I'm 3 months into my 5 to 6 month chronic pain rehabilitation journey, and I want to take a moment to reflect on what I've learned so far and share those insights with you. When I started this journey, I had an idea of what I wanted to accomplish, and as I've gone along, it's become increasingly clear. So it's really interesting to go on a journey where you think you know the destination, and as you travel on the journey, the destination becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. I suspect at the month 4 mark, I'll have even more insights or a different perspective on what I'm doing, but it's just evolved over time naturally. So I keep asking myself, why am I on this journey? And so the answer keeps changing. Originally, I wanted to heal my body. That much was obvious to me. I wanted the pain in my back to go away. I knew I had to heal my mind too, but I didn't realize how badly my mind was broken. It became increasingly clear to me as I went along that my mind really needed a lot of work. And one aspect of healing my mind that's weighed on me a lot is healing relationships. And the relationships I need to heal are at least four types. One is with myself. This is the most important. The second is with others. The third is with life, just how I perceive life and my place in it. And fourth is my relationship with God. So I want to go over each of these in turn and discuss some of the insights I've had about them. The first is with myself. My relationship with myself was very much broken, and I'm still working on it. It is still sort of broken, but it's getting much, much better than it was. Originally, it was very adversarial. An example of this would be how I perceived my own body. I was kind of at war with my own body. I hated it. I didn't like what it couldn't do. I didn't like the limitations that I had. I didn't like the pain that I felt from it. It was really sort of a hateful relationship. And I know now that I'm now able to feel much more kind and empathetic towards myself and my physical situation. I just accept it more naturally. That I do have these limitations, but I see that I can improve my situation. I focus on that instead of fixating on the limitations that still exist. I'm able to, it fills me with hope to be able to look at what can be fixed as opposed to dwelling on what can't. Another thing that helped me to redefine my relationship with myself is realizing that there are parts of me that are beautiful. I never would have used the word beautiful to describe myself, but psychedelics helped me to see that there are really beautiful parts to me, that I am actually a beautiful person. That doesn't mean all of me is beautiful, but there are parts that really are, objectively so, and I should acknowledge those. I've had several other, what I would call revelations on psychedelics that are significant to me. One of these was about the 9th ketamine trip I went on, and that is that I love myself. And then a few ketamine trips later, it was that I want to be myself. And so I felt love for me and a desire to actually stay in this body and be me, regardless of what the outcome of this journey is. I don't want to transplant myself into someone else. And all of this is kind of rolled up into a sense of identity. Who am I? What am I? And I've actually asked myself for the first time in my journey that question seriously. I believe up until this point I have allowed largely circumstance and other people to define me, and I'm actually taking a lot of steps to do that for myself, which is very liberating. It can be a little scary because you're walking into uncharted territory, but it's ultimately liberating and exciting. On to how I'm changing my relationships with others. When I started, I was sequestered away. I think in part that was because I was afraid of rejection. I didn't really have a strong sense of self. I didn't really like myself that much, and so external rejection was something that was very scary for me to face. Now I see it as a way to get valuable input, to improve my situation and do better in everything that I do. It's actually quite important. Of course, there are people that will give you feedback that's garbage, and you have to be able to discern the difference, but now I want it. I actually want to grow and become better at whatever I'm doing, and so I welcome the feedback. There's part of me that still doesn't want it, but I know that I need it, and so I'm learning to swallow and digest it better. I didn't have a lot of friends anymore. My Facebook list is still a little paltry, but as I've traveled on this journey, I've made new friends in pretty rapid fashion, and they become significant friendships, meaning we are having deep conversations with each other. We are giving each other ideas about how to help in our various situations. It just feels like I'm really connecting with these people. And I don't need to have 1,000 friends. I just need a few good ones. And as it stands right now, I think I have those. And so I'm very grateful to have renewed those friendships. And the way I've gotten them is interesting. It's by being completely transparent, open, and honest, and just seeing what happens. I felt like I didn't know how to make friends anymore. Like I'd lost this ability that I had in childhood. It kind of just went away. And the reason I could do it in childhood is because I was just me. I wasn't trying to be anything other than just who I was. And so by being more open and transparent and honest, friends are just starting to pop out of the woodwork, and I'm connecting with people. It's really not as hard as I thought it was. The third thing that I'm healing is my relationship with life itself. My aspiration now is to live willfully and joyfully, meaning I don't want to be a begrudging participant in life, and I don't want to go through essentially as a bitter person, right? I want to embrace life in its entirety, the good and the bad, and find joy therein. The way I'm doing this is relearning to look at life as a total package. It is a package of good and bad things, and you can kind of control how much good and bad are in your life, but no matter who you are, you're going to experience both. It is a package deal. And so you can either accept that package, or you can kind of kick and scream about the fact that there's bad stuff in the package. I'm trying to learn not to do that and just endure the bad things and really focus on the good. I'm learning how to do that. I'm still not an expert, but I really feel like this holistic view of life is making a big difference in my outlook. And in large part, I'm trying to mimic my 4-year-old daughter in the way that I interact with the world at large and with my life. She is resilient, she's curious, she's pliable, she's hungry. She's just fully engaged and happy to be here, and I want to be more like her. The last relationship I'm trying to improve is with God. If you don't believe in God, think of whatever your higher reality is and find a way to reconnect to it. I was always actively engaged with God as a child. Up and about, 20 years old is when I started to disengage and become sort of a passive participant in my religion and in my connection with Him. And I'm now kind of trying to re-engage in the way that I engaged when I was younger. And the way I did that when I was younger was to try to collect all the good and true and beautiful things in the world and make them part of me. And so I'm actively doing that again. That is essentially how I worship. I go out and find all the best things and make them part of me, make them my own. And another thing I've done is I've decided to redefine my relationship to the organization that I practice within, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I am not reflexively rejecting it, but I have decided to set up some boundaries and define my relationship with my religion on my own. I never would have done this before until I actually felt a sense of self, but now that I do, I realize it's okay for me to not go all in my participation in that organization if I don't completely agree with everything that it does or teaches, but I can be at least part of it still, and again, collect the good and the beautiful from it without throwing the whole thing away. At this point, I feel a little more childlike in the way that I interact with God. I want Him to expose me to new things, and I'm open to learning whatever it is that He has to teach me. In the same way that my 4-year-old daughter embraces the world and learns from what I'm trying to teach her, I want Him to teach me the same way. So in summary, at this point I've been focusing a lot on healing my mind and specifically my relationship with myself, with others, with life, and with God. At the 4-month mark, I may have some different insights, but this is what's meaningful to me right now and what I've been focusing on. Fighting for your life means taking time to reflect on your journey. Meaningful insights await. If you find my videos helpful, please pass them along and don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, keep fighting for your life.